A very good morning to you and welcome to the news at 7. I'm Ebere Ugonna. In the headlines this morning. Igbo stakeholders reiterate calls for the ethnic group to sustain total support for restructuring agenda. Fire destroys widow's apartment in Awka a few days after husband's demise. New electronic yellow card to replace manual cards from April 1. And on the foreign scene this morning, North Korea envoy goes into hiding in Italy. And now details of the news. The World Igbo Leadership Education and Cultural Council, in conjunction with the Igbo Information and Communication Network, has organized the 2018 Igbo International Christmas Retreat. The annual event, which is the third on the roll, is centered on bringing together the Igbo in diaspora to discuss the ways to drive development in Igbo land in the economic, social, political, and cultural frontiers. Valentine Mbadue reports.
The president of Ohaneze Ndibo Worldwide, Chief John Nyanwodo, while speaking during the event, commended the initiative, urging the Igbo nation to unite and speak in one accord. Chief Nwodo further maintained that restructuring is the only way to set things right in the country, calling on the Igbo to vote wisely during the forthcoming general election for the interest of the Igbo nation and Nigeria at large.
Restructuring of Nigeria. So
in an address, the host and the president of Igbo World Assembly, Dr. Nwachukwu Anakwenze, who is also the traditional prime minister of Abagana, called on the Igbo around the world to embrace education, uphold the rich cultural heritage, and also invest on Igbo land for economic growth and development.
They need to continue pursuing their higher education, but they need to learn about their Igbo culture and language. They need to come back home to help integrate and work with our people home so we can put them up. We are in a very strong position in the whole diaspora. The Igbos were the majority everywhere. We are the majority Africans everywhere.
On their part, the national president, Otusubaku Igbo, Professor Peter Ejiofor, and the chairman, Igbo World Congress, Professor Anthony Ejiofor, who commended the efforts of the Igbo World Assembly, noted that reviving the Igbo language should be the stepping stone towards achieving the objective of making the Igbo nation an outstanding tribe. They canvassed for every Southeast state government to include Ohaneze Ndibo in their annual budget to help strengthen the union. Others who spoke at the event, including a former commissioner for works, Anambra State, Honorable Mrs. Chika Ibeneme, Professor Emma Okota, Ugezu J. Ugezu of Nollywood, and Chief Clems of Edu, who is the Chief Palace Secretary of Abagana community, appreciated the organizers of the event, as well as the host, Chief Anakwenze, calling on Igbo to embrace love and unity in diversity as a way to attracting more development to the region. From Abagana community in Njikoka local government area, Valentine Mbadoga reporting for ABS News.
Like the Dockers of old, care for the widows took the center stage when widows in Anambra North and South, Agwata and part of Delta states received succor from Bishop Edith Elisha Chukwuma, and she distributed 12.5 kilograms of rice and a wrapper to each of the 700 widows selected from the various communities. The event took place at the Umwezempu Hall, Oko, in Anambra North local government area. Correspondent Ngozi Obilere covered the event and now reports.
Bishop Elisha Chukwuma is the General Overseer of Gushon Ministries Worldwide and the organizer of the event tagged Jesus Wives. During the program, some of the widows testified to the goodness of God in their families. As they said, Bishop Edith, who has been looking after them since the past 20 years, has also led them to God.
I'm happy. Jesus wife. If I can't make that, I let us come at a mama.
In a sermon, Bishop Elisha Chukwuma harped on the need for Christians to anchor their faith in God, noting that love for neighbors is a virtue which all must imbibe. She advised the widows to have a forgiving spirit so that their Father in heaven can forgive their sins. The bishop added that they should not see widowhood as a curse, but rather the will of God at a point in someone's life, calling on them to engage in meaningful ventures to avoid falling into temptation.
My motivation is a task. I found it in the Bible that the proper Christianity is to remember the widows, less privileged and orphans. So, and I try to practice it. And God has been helping me to carry the ministry. It's only by God's divine intervention, not by power, not by might. God who have chosen me is helping me from.
A guest at the event, Apostle Amaka Blessing, said one of the ways to attract the blessings of God is by taking care of the less privileged. And she said that widows are special people kept under the care of the affluent.
To witness what she is doing and bless the people, because I love when I see people happy. Because when you go to Matthew 25 verse 35 to 46, the Bible says that when you visit people in the hospital, God said you've done it to him. When you show love to people, we've done it to God. So it is obligatory for every Christian to show love, especially this Xmas period. You have to show love to one another. That was why I'm here, because I love seeing people happy.
Some of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude to the bishop, whom they said has been their inspiration over the years, praying God to bless and give her long life. The event featured welcome songs as well as drama and march past by the women. From Oko in Orumba North Local Government Area, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
The Archbishop Province of the Nigerian Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, Most Reverend Professor Godwin Okpala, has turned the sword for the construction of Christ Church at the new site Umueshi, Irife, Orifite in Ekwusigo Local Government Area. The church project undertaken by Sir Emeka Okosa Foundation attracted dignitaries from far and near, including Dame Viji Etiaba, former governor of Anambra State, Archbishop Emmanuel Chukwuma of Enugu Anglican Diocese, and astute politician Chief Chekwa Sokorie, among other dignitaries. Staff reporter Ogochukwu Reno has details.
In a remark during the event, Engineer Sir Emeka Okosa, founder Emeka Okosa Foundation, said the aim of the foundation is to alleviate poverty among the people through the foundation's scholarship and health scheme, stressing that the reason for embarking on the new church is to improve the spirituality of people, bring the church closer to them, and aid in the spread of the gospel. He pledged his commitment towards the development of Orifite, Anambra State, and Nigeria.
And I support this church in order to spread the word of God. The foundation of everyone should be a foundation delayed on God. Without it, we are going nowhere.
Addressing the people, Archbishop Emmanuel Chukwuma, who said he is impressed whenever he sees church planters and mission-minded people, regretted that the affluent do not invest in church activities. Archbishop Chukwuma pointed out that the future of Nigeria is laid on the foundation of Jesus Christ, adding that the church is the conscience of the nation and brings development. He urged the people to shun corruption and turn a new leaf for a better Nigeria.
Today, many people are very much concerned about being present in political rallies. If you know how much people spend in sponsoring candidates, and none of them contributes kobo to building a church or to support evangelism, it will very much be a baffling thing for all of us. So for anyone who decides that, okay, no, and whether I like it or not, this place is going to expand. Amen.
On her part, Dame Viji Etiaba, former governor of Anambra State, highlighted the blessings derived from embarking on such projects, as Christ is the foundation of Christianity, and prayed that God will see Sir Emeka Okosa through the project.
And we all
Archbishop Okpala, assisted by Archbishop Chukwuma, later laid the foundation stone at the new site. Special rendition by choristers from Church of the Resurrection Power, New Heaven, Enugu, set the spiritual tone of the ceremony. Ogochukwu Orano for ABS News.
A widow, Mrs. Blessing Onwudinjo, who lost her husband a few days ago, has also lost her 3-bedroom apartment to fire disaster in Awka. The inferno, which began around 8 p.m. on Wednesday night, completely razed the building with all her belongings. When ABS crew led by Kenneth Chukwuchukwu visited the scene of the fire incident, the widow, still under deep shock, lamented that the clothes she and her children were wearing were the only things saved from the fire disaster. His report.
Mrs. Onwudinjo said the incident started when some of her children had slept while she and some others were outside, suspecting that the fire came from a fridge in one of the rooms and spread until the entire building was completely razed.
Government 24 December
A neighbor to the family, Engineer Michael Mofunaya, emphasized that himself and those around struggled to put out the fire after trying to reach the fire service. He said neighbors have been trying to assist the widow with food and clothing, calling on government and well-meaning members of the public to come to the woman's aid to help her grapple with the effects of the disaster.
As soon as I just entered my gate there, that was when the descent, I observed it and everything. So without shout, now we started calling immediately. I'll say it's an electric fault because that my little brother there. So there was a time he was saying that when they brought the light, there was spark. So he off everything before he went to watch football somewhere. You understand? So I felt that probably the same spark must have happened again. And that must have triggered the fire in this thing.
A sympathizer, Pascal Okeke, urged people to be cautious during this dry season, especially by ensuring that all electrical appliances are switched off when not around.
Now it's a Harmattan period, we should be careful. If you are leaving your house, switch everything off, including your fridge, even your bulb, switch everything, all the whole possible. You got a control switch. You can put on your light.
In Awka, it's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
The federal government has introduced the electronic yellow card for international travelers out of the country. This will replace the old card with effect from April 1 this year. The yellow card is the international certificate of vaccination or prophylaxis. According to the Federal Ministry of Health, to obtain an e-yellow card, one has to register on the official website in addition to paying 2,000 naira. The ministry said it takes maximum of an hour for the card to be ready after vaccination, and that international travelers are to be vaccinated at least 10 days before traveling. And away from that, the state chapter of the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria recently played host to its members from across the country who took time off the farm to felicitate with one of their own and chairman, Anambra State chapter of the association, Mr. Simon Ofodile, who was joined with his wife, former Mrs. Rita Udebunam, now Mrs. Rita Ofodile, in a holy matrimony. The event took place at All Saints Anglican Church, Omo Ayamelum Council area. Correspondent Ngozi Obileri, who is also a member of the association, covered the event and now reports.
Good morning. All over the country, including the makers of the famous Anambra rice. Earlier during the service, the priest in charge, All Saints Parish, Omo, Reverend Canon James Ike, urged parents to monitor the type of friends their children keep so as to redirect them whenever they go astray. He charged married couple to make Jesus Christ the pillar of their marriage and cautioned against allowing a third party in their marriage to avoid her dying known.
John chapter 4, Jesus saying, "Why Samaria? No boni genye mmiri a si na well a nwee nwa ya na ngenye gi mmiri nke ga-eme nwa mmiri nke ndụ esi n'ime gị na-erupụta ịma mbịazi ebe a taa afụ sere mmiri ọ bụ ezi omume nke Chineke ezi omume nke mmụọ nke Chineke na-akpali n'ime mmadụ ka Jizọs na-agwa ya na a ga-etinye n'ime ya ọ ga-esi n'ime ya na-erupụta dịka mmiri iyi nke ndụ. And on apụta ọ bụrụ ọzọ ike na-etili iwu ọzọ bifo eti iwu ị na-ọbụgolo okporo ndụ gị
Speaking at the occasion, the chairman of the occasion, Chief Marcellinus Okoye, appreciated God for the successful outing and thanked members of Refan for coming out en masse to be part of the event, even as he prayed God to bless the new couple. In their separate speeches, the parents of the bride, Mr. Sunday Udebunam, who stood as the father of the bride, and Mrs. Udebunam, the bride's mother, thanked God for joining their daughter and her husband as one, praying for love and fruitfulness in their marriage. The mother of the groom, Mrs. Onyedika Ofodile, prayed for good health, long life, and unadulterated love between the couple, advising them to allow God lead in their marriage. The new couple, Mr. Simon and Mrs. Rita Ofodile, expressed gratitude to God for bringing them together in love and promised to be there for each other till the end of time.
Once in life, and they can sit here today. That is the wonderful day, the best day in my life. They can't love who find this two couple in the night today.
High points of the event were exchange of marital vows and rings, cutting of the wedding cake, bridal dance, and presentation of gifts to the couple. From Omo in Ayamelum local government area, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
And moving on to the foreign scene, North Korea's top diplomat in Italy has gone into hiding, according to a South Korean member of parliament, after a South Korean newspaper reported he's seeking asylum in the West. Kim Min-ki told reporters after a closed-door meeting with South Korean intelligence officials yesterday said that the acting ambassador Jun Sung-gil disappeared with his wife and children. The spy agency briefing to MPs came after South Korea's Jong-ang Ibo Daily reported that Joe had sought asylum in an unidentified Western country with his family. The report said the 48-year-old, who is known to be a son or son-in-law of one of the highest level officials in the North's regime, was in a safe place with his family under the protection of the Italian government. Most North Korean diplomats serving overseas are normally required to leave several family members, typically children, behind in Pyongyang to prevent their defection while working abroad. The first Vice President, Nigeria Football Federation, Seyi Akinwumi, yesterday said that the Super Eagles' appearance at the 2018 World Cup was his greatest moment of last year. Akinwumi made this known in an interview with newsmen in Lagos while reflecting on the successes recorded in football administration in 2018. The senior national team, led by the Franco-German tactician Gunnar Rohr, had a fairly decent appearance at the 2018 World Cup in Russia after playing in what many soccer pundits regarded as the group of death. The Super Eagles qualified for the 2018 World Cup in style, being the first African team to qualify after beating Zambia 1-0 in Uyo. The Raw two-third team, however, failed to go past the group stage, being in the same group with giant killers such as Croatia, which later emerged as the World Cup runner-up, Argentina and Iceland. And that's it on ABS News at 7. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And just before we go this morning, the headlines again. Igbo stakeholders has reiterated calls for the ethnic group to sustain total support for restructuring agenda. Fire disaster destroyed widow's apartment in Awka a few days after husband's demise. New electronic yellow cards to replace manual cards from April 1. And on the foreign scene, we brought to you that North Korea envoy has gone into hiding in Italy. And that's the size of our package this morning. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. I'm Berry. Ugonna, good morning. Anambra continue shortly. Please stay with us.